Chosen one. There is a quiet exhaustion that settles deep within those who carry a light too heavy for ordinary rooms. You know this distinct weight, chosen one, not as simple tiredness, but as the soul-deep weariness of a silent anchor holding firm against a storm others cannot even see. You have walked through corridors of cruelty, stood unflinching in the path of unearned malice, and absorbed shocks meant to shatter human resolve. Yet, here you still stand, not because life has been gentle, but because something ancient within your chest refuses to let you break. Welcome back to Wisdom Path, where we look past the superficial noise to finally name the quiet architecture of what you actually are. For too long, you have questioned why betrayal followed you like a shadow, and why simple paths were always barbed wire for your feet. Listen closely, chosen one, because nothing was ever wrong with your spirit. You were never engineered for the shallows of consensus and comfort. You were constructed for the deep ocean trenches where the water is freezing and the light is entirely self-generated. It is time to drop the small, bitter narrative the world tried to write for you and recognize the silent, monumental battles you have already won for a humanity that remains blissfully unaware of your existence. To fully comprehend who you truly are, chosen one, you must dismantle the small, distorted mirror that society handed to you on the day you began to question its illusions. For years, you probably looked at your life through the lens of a victim, secretly asking why every natural door seemed bolted shut, why unprovoked betrayal followed your steps like a faithful shadow, and why the simplest, most mundane paths were consistently woven with barbed wire exclusively for you, while others walked effortlessly on velvet. You internalized that profound isolation, assuming that something was fundamentally broken within your spirit, because you could never quite force yourself to participate in the shallow, transactional rituals that keep modern existence humming along its predictable tracks. You watch people bond over gossip, superficial status, and mutual deception, while you stood on the edge, feeling like an archaeological artifact dropped into a high school cafeteria. Listen to me very closely, because this realization is the key that unlocks your entire history. Nothing was ever wrong with you, and your spirit was never defective or cursed. The friction, the rejection, and the agonizing isolation you experienced were the precise, mathematically deliberate calibrations of a soul being forged under extreme, celestial pressure. Ordinary souls are built for ordinary environments. They thrive in collective consensus, find deep comfort in shared delusion, and derive their entire sense of safety from conformity to the herd. But you were never engineered for the shallows where the water is warm and stagnant. You were constructed for the deep ocean trenches where the water is freezing. The psychological pressure is utterly crushing, and the only light that exists must be entirely self-generated from the core of your own consciousness. Think back across the timeline of your life to the exact moments when you genuinely believed you were going to drown under the weight of your circumstances. Recall the sudden, catastrophic loss of a foundational relationship that felt less like a breakup and more like a localized apocalypse tearing your reality apart. Remember the calculated betrayals delivered by people you had personally nourished with your own emotional vitality, leaving you bleeding in the dark while they walked away unharmed. Recall the systematic dismantling of every safety net, career path, or illusion of stability that you had painstakingly built with your own sweat and tears. To the casual observer, or the well-meaning friend offering cheap platitudes, those devastating chapters looked like pure, unadulterated tragedies. But to the higher cosmic architecture governing your evolution, those brutal events were absolute demolitions. The universe had to ruthlessly tear down the scaffolding of your ego, your desperate attachments, and your deep-seated desire to be understood and validated by people operating on a completely different frequency. It hurt with an intensity that felt physical, because universal truth always burns away illusion, leaving raw, hypersensitive nerves exposed to the harsh, unfiltered air of reality. But look carefully at what actually survived that roaring fire. It is not the fragile, people-pleasing, validation-seeking person who entered those trials years ago. What emerged from the ashes is an immovable, towering pillar of consciousness that can no longer be manipulated by fear, swayed by empty flattery, or trapped by false promises disguised as love. You were broken down precisely because you were holding too much dead weight from a past version of yourself that could never survive the altitude you are currently destined to reach. This structural overhaul explains why your physical and emotional constitution has felt so violently taxed throughout your journey. When a soul is being upgraded to hold a massive, high-voltage current of spiritual awareness, the physical vessel must undergo a complete rewiring at the cellular level. You are not just aging or experiencing random stress. You are transmuting dense generational coding into pure light. The sudden waves of exhaustion that no amount of sleep could fix were simply system updates, forcing you into isolation so your conscious mind would stop interfering with the deep, surgical work happening in your spiritual anatomy. While the world judged you for withdrawing, for being too sensitive, or for lacking the relentless hustle of modern ambition, you were actually lying dormant in a chrysalis, letting old timelines dissolve so a vastly superior version of your spiritual identity could anchor into the physical plane. Furthermore, this profound remodeling of your internal architecture is why you can no longer tolerate the things that used to amuse or entertain you. Small talk feels like a physical assault on your nervous system, because your field has expanded far beyond the petty dramas of low vibrational living. You find yourself retreating into silence not out of depression, but because your internal landscape has become a sanctuary of profound truth, leaving no room for the noisy, hollow echoes of a society sleepwalking through its own existence. When you look in the mirror and wonder who the stranger is staring back at you with those ancient, knowing eyes, understand that you are finally meeting the unmasked self. The person you thought you were was just a temporary suit of armor you wore to survive the battlefield. The entity waking up beneath it is an ancient sovereign force of nature that has walked this earth before and knows precisely what it came here to finish. The heavy burden you have carried was never a punishment designed to break your spirit, but a rigorous training program designed to test your mettle. Think of how many times you were thrown into situations where you had no allies, no roadmap, and no safety net, yet somehow you always found a way through. You thought you were just surviving day by day, but the universe was actually putting you through obstacle courses to build spiritual muscle. Every heartbreak stripped away a layer of naivety. Every betrayal taught you how to read the true energetic signature of a human being behind their polite words. And every dark night of the soul taught you how to generate your own inner sun when the entire external world went pitch black. You were being prepared to stand alone because the mission assigned to your soul cannot be executed by a crowd. It requires a solitary commander who answers only to the higher laws of the cosmos. As you sit with this profound realization today, let the final vestiges of self-doubt melt away into the ground beneath you. You are not a broken survivor trying to piece together a shattered life. You are a master architect, looking at a completed foundation that was built to withstand an earthquake. The confusion is lifting, the fog of war is clearing, and the true purpose of your relentless, unyielding endurance is finally coming into sharp, undeniable focus. You endured the crushing pressure of the deep trenches not to be buried by them, but so you could learn how to navigate the darkest waters of human experience with absolute grace, unshakable poise, and the quiet, terrifying power of a soul that has already looked into the abyss and refused to blink. The tragic, beautiful irony of being a chosen one is that your most monumental contributions to the evolution of this planet will never be printed on historical monuments, taught in academic textbooks, or celebrated in the loud, flashy public squares of modern society. Your true resume, the one that actually matters in the grand ledger of the cosmos, is written entirely in the invisible, sensitive fabric of the collective human psyche. While humanity measures greatness by the accumulation of visible trophies, viral fame, or political titles, your ledger is filled with silent, microscopic victories that kept the very fabric of human reality from tearing apart at the seams. You were never meant to be a loud leader holding a megaphone on a stage. You were designed to be the invisible load-bearing wall holding up the roof, while everyone inside danced on the floor above you, completely oblivious to who kept them safe from the storm. Consider the profound energetic weight of the battles you fought in absolute solitude, when no one was clapping for you, no one was wiping your tears, and no one even knew you were bleeding. Every single time you stood in a room full of toxic people waiting for your angry retaliation, and you consciously chose radical, ice-cold forgiveness, instead, you fundamentally altered the energetic grid of your local environment. When you sat alone in the dark of your room, weeping over unearned wounds that no one else knew existed, and instead of letting bitterness curdle your heart into stone, you whispered a quiet, desperate prayer for the healing of the very people who had tried to destroy you. You single-handedly shifted a failing timeline. Most human beings live their entire lives completely blind to the mechanics of energetic warfare, operating under the naive illusion that history and reality are shaped exclusively by politicians, armies, and grand economic policies. But those who have cleared the veil know a much deeper, hidden truth. The physical world you see with your eyes is merely a slow, lagging shadow of the spiritual realm where true causation takes place. Think deeply about the generational chains that you have single-handedly snapped within your lifetime through sheer willpower and spiritual endurance. You carry within your biological and spiritual DNA the accumulated trauma of ancestors who survived cycles of addiction, emotional starvation, silence, war, and desperate survival mechanisms. When you looked at that toxic inheritance, felt the burning pain of its roots in your own chest, and consciously refused to pass that poisoned baton down to the next generation, when you broke down crying on your kitchen floor and declared that the cycle of abuse ends right here with your heartbeat, you performed high-level spiritual surgery on your entire bloodline. You cleared out centuries of accumulated psychic debris, rewriting the spiritual destiny of everyone who comes after you. That monumental feat required a level of internal courage that ordinary people cannot even conceptualize, let alone endure. This invisible labor explains precisely why you have felt so intensely attacked throughout your life, why you were systematically isolated from groups, and why you were so fiercely targeted by heavy, dark energies that seemed to follow you everywhere. You were never just fighting for your own personal happiness or career success. You were operating as a localized containment unit for cosmic chaos, constantly transmuting the heavy, toxic sludge of collective unconsciousness into pure, neutral fuel for awakening. You voluntarily stepped in front of the spiritual bullets that were meant to flatten entire communities. You stood bravely in the gap when the gate was wide open to destructive forces. You absorbed the toxic shrapnel of a deeply broken world, digested it silently through the blazing furnace of your own spiritual stamina, and radiated back stability, grace, and quiet truth to people who treated you like an outsider. If the general population only knew how many nights your personal energetic stamina held a crumbling local environment or a fragile family dynamic together, they would drop to their knees in absolute awe. They would realize that their safe sleep, their sudden moments of inspiration, and their unearned peace were subsidized by your silent, agonizing suffering in the background. But you do not need their validation, their applause, or their public thank you notes. The stars kept a meticulous score, and your cosmic record is spotless. The universe does not reward the loud narcissists who demand attention on stages. It honors the quiet, steadfast anchors who hold the ship steady when the ocean rises to swallow the sky. Your silent victories are woven into the very starlight above you, vibrating eternally as a testament to what an unbreakable soul looks like when pushed to its absolute limits. This invisible warfare also clarifies why certain people in your life seemed inexplicably allergic to your presence, attacking you with a viciousness that left you entirely bewildered. When a soul carries the high-frequency codes of a true chosen one, low vibrational entities and unconscious humans perceive your mere existence as an existential threat to their illusions. They did not hate you for anything you actually said or did to them. They hated you because your clean, energetic field acted like a bright, merciless floodlight, exposing the dark, dusty corners of their own unresolved shadows. By simply refusing to play their games, by walking away from their drama with quiet dignity, and by maintaining your internal peace in the face of their calculated provocations, you exposed their profound spiritual bankruptcy without lifting a single finger. Your life became a living mirror that they could not bear to look into, which is why they tried so desperately to break, discredit, or isolate you from the rest of the world. Yet, look at where those people are now, and look at where you stand. Their frantic attempts to dim your light only served to burn away whatever residual naivety you had left, hardening your spiritual resolve into diamond-sharp clarity. Every trap they laid for you became the very stepping stone you used to elevate your frequency to a level they can no longer even perceive, let alone touch. You have successfully graduated from the classroom of victimization and entered the hall of sovereign mastery. Your invisible battles are over because you have conquered the internal and external darkness, turning your deepest wounds into the very armor that protects your sacred mission moving forward. The world may never write your name in its history books, but the universe knows exactly who kept the lights on during humanity's longest, coldest night. And that, chosen one, is an achievement that echoes across eternity. There is a profound, tectonic shift happening right now within the deepest layers of your cellular memory and spiritual anatomy. For the longest time, you moved through the world feeling like an absolute alien, trapped in an unfamiliar, uncomfortable skin, wandering aimlessly through a strange, hostile city where nobody spoke your language. You looked at human interactions, the exhausting social games, the carefully curated superficial masks, the relentless, frantic hunger for external validation, and the petty tribalism, and felt a profound, isolating detachment that borders on alienation. You spent countless nights staring at the ceiling, wondering if your mind was slowly fracturing, questioning why you could never find peace in the things that brought everyone else so much effortless joy. You were never losing your mind, chosen one. You were simply losing your conditioning. The frequency you are stepping into right now is one of absolute, unshakable sovereignty that cannot be rented, bought, or negotiated with. You are finally waking up to the realization that the opinions, judgments, and projections of people who cannot even govern their own emotional chaos hold zero currency in your reality. The exhausting validation you spent decades subconsciously begging for, seeking approval from parents, romantic partners, professional peers, and society at large, has suddenly and permanently evaporated from your system. In its place has rushed a terrifyingly liberating realization. You do not need them to understand you in order to know exactly who you are. This monumental transition naturally feels lonely at first because as your personal vibration rises rapidly into a higher octave, the density of your old environment can no longer keep pace. People who used to comfortably walk beside you, share your spaces, or rely on your emotional labor will suddenly find your new presence deeply uncomfortable, intimidating, and even triggering. They will call you detached, cold, arrogant, or changed. Let them invent whatever comforting fictions they need to excuse their absolute inability to meet you at your new altitude. You did not spend years walking through the dark valley of the shadow of death, just to shrink your energy back down to fit comfortably inside a cramped room that suffocates your spirit. Your physical vessel itself is undergoing a radical, profound biological recalibration to anchor this new frequency. The strange, unexplainable aches in your bones, the sudden, overwhelming waves of deep fatigue alternating abruptly with electric, manic bursts of creative fire, the bizarre shifts in your sleep patterns where you wake up wide awake at pre-dawn hours, and your intense, almost painful sensitivity to crowded places or low-vibe environments are all undeniable physical proofs of your ongoing transformation. Your biology is literally upgrading to handle a much higher voltage of divine light. You are becoming a living tuning fork for pure truth. When you walk into a room now, unauthentic things start to wobble. Secrets come tumbling to light without you lifting a single finger. Masks slip off fake faces because your mere presence acts like a spiritual solvent, instantly dissolving pretense, hypocrisy, and artificiality. This sovereign frequency also changes how you handle conflict and boundary setting. Where you once used to argue, explain yourself endlessly, and fight to prove your innocence to people committed to misunderstanding you, you now respond with a terrifying, impenetrable silence. You realize that giving your energy away to arguments with unconscious minds is a waste of sacred fire. When someone tries to pull you back down into their muddy drama, you simply look right through them with calm, unblinking eyes, watching their ego thrash around while your internal lake remains entirely smooth and glass-like. You have mastered the art of non-attachment, not because you lack empathy, but because you finally understand that your peace is far too expensive to trade for temporary validation. You are no longer an observer trapped in someone else's script. You are the author reclaiming your pen. Every past rejection that felt like a curse is now revealed to have been a divine redirection, steering you away from rooms that would have clipped your wings and straight toward the wide open skies where you belong. As you anchor this sovereign frequency deeper into your daily life, the external world will begin to rearrange itself around your new boundary lines. People who respect your energy will stay and rise with you. Those who don't will quietly fade into the background, unable to tolerate the brilliant heat of your unfolding authenticity. Embrace this evolution with fierce pride, because the stranger you thought you saw in the mirror is finally looking back at you with the full, uncompromised power of a sovereign soul stepping into its true kingdom. Furthermore, this internal elevation alters your creative and productive output in ways that baffle those who once tried to micromanage your potential. You no longer chase busy work or hustle for the sake of looking productive to a society addicted to exhaustion. Instead, your actions have become deliberate, precise, and lethally effective, driven by a quiet inner authority that knows exactly when to strike and when to remain completely still. People who once dismissed your quiet demeanor suddenly realize that your stillness was never a sign of passivity, but rather the coiled spring of immense disciplined power waiting for the right cosmic alignment. Finally, as this sovereign frequency solidifies within your core, you begin to experience a deep, unbreakable sense of internal companionship that renders external loneliness entirely obsolete. You realize that you were never actually alone in those dark, brutal rooms. You were simply being isolated by the universe so you could learn how to rely exclusively on the divine spark burning within your own chest. This realization brings a profound, unshakable smile to your face, even amidst lingering chaos, because you know with absolute certainty that the hardest part of the journey is permanently behind you, and your true reign has only just begun. Do not look back at your agonizing past with regret, and do not project your anxieties onto an uncertain future. Every single tear you shed in lonely solitude, every brutal betrayal that forced you to learn how to stand entirely on your own 2 feet, every sleepless night spent questioning your own sanity while the world slept soundly. It was all rigorous, precise preparation for this exact monumental hour. You are no longer the defensive, wounded survivor anxiously trying to justify your right to exist or earn scraps of affection from a broken world. You are stepping fully into the archetype of the sovereign master of your own destiny. The nature of your spiritual tests is shifting permanently from survival to creation. The universe is no longer asking you how much crushing pain, isolation, and misunderstanding you can silently endure. It is asking you an entirely new, exhilarating question. How much beauty, abundance, profound peace, and divine love are you finally willing to receive? The people who mocked your fierce sensitivity, doubted your razor-sharp intuition, or tried to break your spirit when you were down are about to witness something they cannot possibly comprehend: your unhindered, unstoppable rise. They honestly thought your quiet endurance and grace were signs of weakness, completely blind to the fact that your silence was simply the silent gestation period of a spiritual giant waking up from a deep, ancient sleep. Take a slow, deep breath right now, allowing the air to fill the absolute deepest chambers of your lungs, and let your shoulders drop completely away from your ears. Realize, with absolute, unshakable certainty, that you have already done the impossible. You survived the darkest night of the soul when everything inside you wanted to give up. You cleared the ancient path so others could walk safely behind you. You managed to keep your heart soft, empathetic, and capable of love in a world that tried its absolute best to turn you into a weapon of bitterness. You are a chosen one, not because life has favored you with an easy ride or handed you unearned privileges, but because you were uniquely strong enough to be trusted with the sacred fire of transformation. And now, as you stand at the threshold of this glorious new dawn, look out across your reality with clear, fearless eyes, because the fire finally obeys you. As you step into the brilliant light of this new reality, remember that your story is no longer defined by what was taken from you, but by what you refuse to let die inside your chest. The universe has prepared a banquet of blessings that match your elevated vibration, and doors that were once firmly bolted are swinging open of their own accord. You no longer have to fight for your place at the table because you are realizing that you were always meant to build your own kingdom. Let this truth anchor deep into your bones. Every battle you fought, every tear you cried, and every door that slammed in your face was a divine conspiracy to protect your destiny and crown your perseverance. The night is over, chosen one, and the sun rising on the horizon belongs entirely to you. Welcome to your dawn. Close your eyes for just a moment. Take one final deep, grounding breath, and let this frequency anchor deep into your core. You have walked through the fire, carried the invisible weight of a breaking world, and emerged as the sovereign master of your own destiny, ready to receive the magnificent abundance that awaits you. To lock this transmission into your physical reality and help weave this protective, powerful grid alongside thousands of other awakening souls across the globe, drop a sacred word or an affirmation of your unshakable strength in the comments below. Let your presence be felt, and let the universe know your true power has awakened. Thank you for walking this sacred path with us. Welcome home to Wisdom Path, where your journey of true creation finally begins.